Imagine this. You say goodnight to your loved ones, brush your teeth, turn out the light, and slide under the covers. It's just another ordinary evening. Maybe you glance at your phone one last time, fluff your pillow, and sigh into the softness of your bed. But by morning, you're gone. No warning. No cries for help. No final words. This is exactly what happened to George Miller, a 71-year-old retired firefighter from Colorado. A man who spent his whole life running into danger to save others, strong, sharp, and full of life. No history of heart trouble. No recent illnesses. Just a quiet dinner with his wife, a little late-night reading, and off to bed like every other night. But when his wife, Carol, woke up the next morning and reached over, George was cold. She screamed. Paramedics rushed in, but it was too late. The doctors found no signs of trauma, no heart attack on record, nothing obvious to explain what happened. To this day, his family is haunted by the same aching question: what went wrong? Could something so sudden have been prevented? Here's what most people don't realize, especially after the age of 70. It's not always a disease or diagnosis that puts your health in danger. Sometimes, it's the small things. The quiet things. The ordinary habits you never think twice about. And some of the most dangerous ones happen right before you go to sleep. Music builds subtly. A warm cozy bedroom. A late-night snack. That second glass of water. Even how you lie down in bed, these small choices can quietly set off a chain reaction in your body. Reactions that, for a younger person, might just cause some discomfort. But for seniors? They can be deadly. You see, after 70, your body changes in ways that most people never talk about. Your heart, your brain, your circulatory system, they no longer bounce back the way they did in your 30s or 40s. What once felt harmless or even comforting, could now be slowly chipping away at your well-being. And the worst part? Most seniors have no idea they're doing anything wrong. In today's story, we're going to shine a light on 4 seemingly innocent bedtime habits that could be quietly destroying your health, increasing your risk of heart attacks, strokes, nighttime falls, cognitive decline, and even sudden death. Some of these habits may surprise you. Others may be things you've done every night for decades. But here's the truth, even just one of these mistakes could silently steal years off your life. And by the time you notice something's wrong, it might already be too late. Pause. Shift in tone, hopeful, empowering. But there's good news. This isn't a story about fear. It's a story about power. Because once you understand what's really happening to your body at night, and what small changes can make a big difference, you take back control. Better sleep. Better heart health. Better mornings. More years with the people you love. By the end of this story, you'll know what to avoid, and what to do instead. And I promise, you'll never look at bedtime the same way again. Let's begin. Let's talk about the first habit, one that almost no one thinks twice about, yet it's quietly robbing thousands of seniors of their health and their lives. It starts with something so ordinary, so comforting. A warm dinner a little later than usual. Maybe it's a pasta dish. Maybe a big slice of meatloaf with mashed potatoes. Or a simple midnight snack, crackers, cheese, a small bowl of cereal. For younger bodies, this might not mean much. You sleep it off, no big deal. But after 70? Every bite before bed could be writing a silent warning inside your body. That's exactly what happened to Betty Collins, a 73-year-old grandmother from Ohio. She'd always been a night owl. Liked watching game shows late into the night, usually with a snack in hand. Cheese and crackers were her favorite. "It helps me sleep," she'd say with a smile. But one night, she woke up with her chest burning, not just heartburn, but tightness, pressure. She got up, walked to the bathroom, and collapsed before she could even call out for help. A minor heart attack. She survived, but just barely. What caused it? The doctors said the culprit wasn't just stress or aging. It was something far more subtle. Late night eating. Here's what most people don't know. When you eat a large or heavy meal too close to bedtime, your body doesn't get to rest. Instead of settling into deep, restorative sleep, your internal systems go into overdrive, trying to break down fats, sugars, and proteins while your body is supposed to be powering down. This does two things. First, it keeps your heart rate elevated. Normally, your heart slows down at night to help your body rest and repair. But digestion makes it work harder. That increased demand can be especially dangerous for seniors, whose hearts are more fragile. Second, it messes with your breathing and blood sugar. Lying down too soon after eating causes stomach acid to rise into the esophagus, a condition known as acid reflux or GERD. This leads to coughing, choking, or that searing burn in the chest. But beyond discomfort, it can also cause a senior to aspirate, that is, inhale stomach acid into the lungs. And that? That can lead to aspiration pneumonia, a deadly lung infection that claims the lives of thousands of older adults every year. If you're living with diabetes or prediabetes, the problem gets even worse. A late dinner can cause your blood sugar to spike and crash while you sleep. These nighttime fluctuations are linked to higher risks of heart attacks, strokes, and sudden death. The scariest part? You might not feel any of it happening. No pain. No symptoms. Just a slow, quiet strain on your heart, night after night. Let's paint a picture. You finish dinner late, maybe around 9:30. Watch a little TV, then lie down by 10 o'clock. You fall asleep quickly, maybe even feel fine. But inside? Your stomach's full. Your heart's racing. Your blood sugar's rising. Your digestion is incomplete. By 1 a.m., acid creeps up your esophagus. Your brain stirs slightly, but not enough to wake you. You shift, cough, maybe choke just a little. Then back to sleep. This might seem like nothing. But repeat it every night for a year, and it becomes a recipe for serious cardiovascular strain, respiratory damage, and a weakened immune system. So what's the solution? It's simpler than you think. If you're over 70, finish your last main meal at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. Give your body enough time to digest before you lie down. And if you really need something before bed, choose light, digestible snacks. A small piece of fruit. A few almonds. A slice of toast. Or a cup of herbal tea. These gentle options can actually help you relax without shocking your system. Avoid greasy, salty, or spicy foods. These irritate your stomach and raise your blood pressure, two things you definitely don't want before bed. Because here's the truth, at this stage of life, how you eat is just as important as what you eat. Betty never used to think twice about that bedtime snack. Now, she finishes dinner before 7 o'clock and drinks a calming tea around 9. She says she sleeps better than she has in years. A small change, that could make a life-saving difference. And that brings us to another seemingly harmless bedtime habit, one that might be even more dangerous. Now, let's move to a second bedtime habit, one that sounds healthy, even smart. One that many seniors do because they were taught to do it. Drinking water before bed. After all, hydration is essential, right? We hear it everywhere, drink more water. Stay hydrated. Flush those toxins out. But here's something no one tells you, especially not to seniors. Too much water at the wrong time can be dangerous. Just ask Walter Green, a 76-year-old veteran from Arizona. Walter had always been disciplined. A man of routines. Every night before bed, he'd drink a full glass of water, just like he'd done for decades. It was part of his health ritual. Helps the kidneys, he'd say. But one night, around 2 a.m., Walter got up, half asleep, to use the bathroom. As he stood, something shifted. The room spun. His knees buckled. He reached for the wall but missed, and fell, face first, onto the cold tile floor. The result? A fractured cheekbone, a bruised spine, and weeks of painful recovery. What caused it? It wasn't clumsiness. It wasn't weakness. It was hydration timing. Let's break it down. As we age, our bladders weaken. They can't hold as much liquid as they used to. At the same time, our kidneys keep working while we sleep, meaning even modest amounts of fluid in the evening get processed and passed quickly. This results in a phenomenon called nocturia, frequent urination at night. It might sound harmless, but here's the danger. Each time you wake up, you're groggy, disoriented. Your body temperature has dropped, and your blood pressure is low. When you suddenly stand up from bed, especially in the dark, your blood pressure can plummet, a condition called postural hypotension. This is when the real danger strikes. Dizziness, fainting, sudden falls, hitting your head, breaking a hip. In fact, falls are one of the leading causes of injury-related deaths among seniors over 70. And many of them begin with a late-night trip to the bathroom. And that's not all. Even if you don't fall, those frequent wake-ups steal your sleep. You might think you're getting enough, 6, 7, even 8 hours. But if you're waking up every 90 minutes to use the bathroom, your brain never reaches the deep, restorative stages of sleep, the kind that protect your heart, your immune system, and your memory. Over time, this sleep deprivation builds up. It increases inflammation. It weakens your body's defenses. And worst of all, it's been directly linked to cognitive decline, including dementia and Alzheimer's. Yes. That one glass of water at bedtime could be robbing you of both your balance and your brain. So what can you do? Do you stop drinking water altogether? Absolutely not. Hydration is still essential. But timing is everything. Here's the new rule: front-load your fluids. Drink the majority of your water earlier in the day, between morning and mid-afternoon. This gives your body time to process and eliminate excess liquid before you sleep. Then, as evening approaches, taper off. Try to finish your last full glass of water by 6 o'clock or 7 p.m. After that, only take small sips if you're thirsty, just enough to stay comfortable. And don't forget, liquids come from more than just your cup. Many seniors forget about hidden fluids, foods like watermelon, cucumbers, soup, even certain medications. These all add up and can contribute to nighttime urination. Be mindful of what you're consuming after dinner. Also, avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed. Both are diuretics, they force your body to flush out more water, increasing your bathroom visits. And alcohol, though it might make you drowsy at first, disrupts your REM sleep and dehydrates you, making things even worse. Walter didn't know any of this. No one had ever told him. But now? He drinks most of his fluids before 4 p.m. He keeps a small cup by his bed, just in case, but hasn't had a fall since. He says his sleep is deeper. His mornings are sharper. And he feels like his old self again. It didn't take a pill. Just a shift in routine. Because sometimes, when you hydrate matters even more than how much you drink. So tonight, take a look at your evening habits. Is that full glass of water at 9 p.m. worth the risk? Or could adjusting your hydration schedule mean the difference between a peaceful night and a dangerous one? And now, let's talk about another bedtime habit that's just as sneaky, but far more deadly than most people realize. There's one more bedtime habit that often flies under the radar, and it's something almost every senior does without a second thought. Turning up the heat. Or piling on thick, heavy blankets. Or sleeping in full pajamas under layers of covers because, let's face it, as we age, we feel the cold more easily. It feels comforting. Safe. Cozy. But here's a hard truth. That warm, toasty bedroom could be silently hurting your heart, disrupting your sleep, and accelerating aging in your brain. Let's meet Frank Lawson, a 74-year-old retired school principal living in Oregon. Frank liked to fall asleep with his room set to 75 degrees. He bundled up in flannel pajamas, wool socks, and 2 thick blankets, the same way he had for years. It just feels nice, he said. I don't like being cold. But every morning, Frank woke up groggy. achy, foggy-headed. He assumed it was just part of getting older. Until the night he woke up drenched in sweat. Heart pounding. Dizzy and nauseous. His wife called 911. The ER doctors told him something he never expected. "You're overheating in your sleep." At first, he didn't believe it. How could a warm room, something that had always helped him sleep, suddenly be bad for him? But here's what Frank learned. And it might change the way you sleep, too. As we age, the body's ability to regulate temperature declines. Seniors sweat less. Circulation slows down. The body can't cool itself efficiently like it used to. So when your room is too warm, your body has to work overtime to lower its internal temperature, even while you sleep. That puts enormous strain on the heart. It raises your blood pressure. It increases your heart rate. It forces your cardiovascular system to stay active, when it should be resting. It also causes nighttime dehydration. You lose more water through sweat than you realize, even without feeling hot. This thickens your blood, increasing your risk of blood clots, strokes, and heart attacks. And the worst part? Warm bedrooms interrupt deep sleep. That's right, your body needs to cool down to enter REM sleep and deep restorative cycles. But if the room is too warm, you toss and turn. You wake up more often. You never reach the critical stages of sleep that help restore memory, immunity, and brain function. Over time, this sleep disruption increases your risk of cognitive decline, dementia, and Alzheimer's. One study found that seniors who consistently sleep in rooms above 70 degrees Fahrenheit wake up more frequently and report lower overall sleep quality than those who sleep cooler. And it's not just about feeling groggy the next day, it's about long-term brain health. Let's break it down. When your body overheats, your heart works harder. Your blood gets thicker. Your sleep becomes fragmented. Your brain fails to repair itself. And your risk of cardiac events and memory loss goes up. So what's the ideal temperature for sleep? Most sleep experts agree, between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit. That might sound chilly, especially if you're used to warm rooms, but here's the key. Cool doesn't mean uncomfortable. The goal isn't to freeze yourself. It's to prevent your core temperature from rising while you sleep. So how do you make that shift without feeling miserable? Here are some simple adjustments you can start tonight. Lower your thermostat gradually. If your room is currently at 75, don't drop it to 60 overnight. Lower it by 1 to 2 degrees each night until you adjust. Use breathable bedding. Ditch the heavy synthetic blankets. Instead, choose light cotton or moisture-wicking fabrics. These keep you warm without trapping heat. Dress wisely. Swap thick pajamas for light, breathable sleepwear. Avoid socks if you don't need them. Layers are better than bulk. Open a window slightly or use a small fan to circulate air. Fresh air reduces carbon dioxide buildup and promotes better sleep. Consider a programmable thermostat. Set it to cool the room while you sleep and warm it slightly before you wake. That way, your mornings still feel comfortable. Frank was skeptical at first. But with his doctor's advice, he lowered his bedroom temperature to 66 degrees over the course of 2 weeks. He replaced his heavy blanket with a lighter one and cracked the window at night. Now? He sleeps soundly through the night. His blood pressure has improved. His wife says he even snores less. And the best part? He wakes up feeling clear, rested, and alert, like he's gained years back. Because that's the truth most people don't realize. A cooler bedroom could literally extend your life. It protects your heart. It strengthens your brain. And it gives you the kind of deep, healing sleep that your body needs to fight aging and disease. So tonight, before you go to bed, ask yourself, is your bedroom too warm? And if it is, are you ready to make a small change that could give you sharper mornings, deeper sleep, and more healthy years ahead? Because we're not done yet. There's one final bedtime habit, the most common of all, and it could be the most dangerous. It's not what you eat. It's not what you drink. It's not even how hot or cold your room is. It's how you sleep. And it could be silently crushing your heart and lungs every single night. So far, we've talked about what you eat, what you drink, and the temperature of your bedroom. But now it's time to talk about the most overlooked danger of all, one that could be silently damaging your heart, lungs, and brain every single night. Your sleeping position. You might be thinking, come on, how I sleep. That can't be that serious. But for seniors over 70, how you position your body at night can literally mean the difference between life and death. Let me introduce you to Robert Jennings, a 76-year-old retired history teacher from Pennsylvania. Robert had always been a back sleeper. It was how he felt most relaxed. He'd lay flat, hands resting on his chest, and drift off without a second thought. But over the years, something began to change. He'd wake up exhausted, even after 8 hours of sleep. His head would throb in the morning. His memory began to slip. Some nights, his wife noticed something even scarier. He would stop breathing for a few seconds, then gasp like he was drowning. Still, Robert brushed it off. Just getting older, he said. Until one night, his breathing paused, and didn't start again. His wife shook him awake, just in time. He gasped, blinked, and slowly came back. That terrifying moment sent him straight to a sleep specialist. The diagnosis? Obstructive sleep apnea. And the biggest contributor? Sleeping on his back. You see, when you lie flat on your back, gravity pulls your tongue and throat muscles downward, often partially or completely blocking your airway. This causes breathing to stop, sometimes dozens or even hundreds of times a night. Each time your brain senses a lack of oxygen, it jolts your body awake just enough to resume breathing, even if you don't remember it. Over time, this pattern causes decreased oxygen levels to the brain and heart, increased risk of stroke, heart failure, and high blood pressure, severe fatigue, memory loss, and mental fog. Even sudden cardiac arrest in the middle of the night. And here's the shocking part, millions of seniors suffer from sleep apnea and don't even know it. Now, sleeping on your back doesn't just worsen breathing. It can also increase acid reflux. Lying flat makes it easier for stomach acid to creep up into the esophagus, especially in people with GERD. This leads to choking, coughing, and in extreme cases, aspiration pneumonia, a deadly lung infection caused by inhaling stomach acid. So if back sleeping is so dangerous, what's the solution? Left side sleeping. Not right. Not stomach down. But specifically, the left side. Here's why. Improve circulation. The heart is slightly tilted toward the left side of your body. Sleeping on your left reduces pressure on your heart and allows blood to flow more freely. Enhances digestion. Your stomach and pancreas sit on the left. Gravity helps keep stomach acid where it belongs, reducing heartburn and GERD symptoms. Optimizes breathing. Your airways stay more open when you sleep on your side, reducing the risk of snoring and sleep apnea episodes. Right side sleeping is a secondary option, better than the back, but it can slightly compress the heart in people with cardiac issues. Stomach sleeping? In rare cases, it can help prevent snoring. But it strains the neck, compresses the spine, and often leads to poor sleep posture and pain. So, if you want to sleep safely, left is best. But what if you can't stay in that position all night? Here are a few tricks. Use a body pillow. Hugging a long pillow can prevent you from rolling onto your back. It also supports your hips and spine. Elevate your head slightly. A wedge pillow or adjustable bed can reduce airway collapse and reflux, especially helpful for people with sleep apnea or GERD. Place a pillow between your knees. This keeps your hips aligned and reduces lower back pressure. Choose the right mattress. A medium firm mattress supports side sleeping by cushioning pressure points while keeping your spine straight. Robert tried everything. It took time, but with a few adjustments, including a wedge pillow and body pillow, he trained himself to sleep on his left side. The difference? Night and day. He no longer woke up gasping. His memory sharpened. His energy returned. His doctor even reduced his blood pressure meds. One small change. One sleeping position. It saved his health, and possibly his life. And this brings us to the final truth, the one that ties everything together. The food you eat, the water you drink, the temperature in your room, and the way you lie in bed. Each one seems harmless on its own. But together? They either build a foundation for vibrant health and restful sleep, or they create a perfect storm of risk. The choice, as always, is yours. You can ignore these habits, shrug them off as just part of aging, and hope for the best. Or, you can make one small change tonight. Maybe you finish dinner earlier. Maybe you stop drinking after 6 p.m. Maybe you crack a window and swap out your heavy blanket. Maybe you roll onto your left side, and stay there. Because while we can't control everything that comes with age, we can control our environment. Our habits. Our awareness. And that awareness? That's the beginning of everything. So tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself, is the way I sleep silently stealing years from my life? Or, could one small change tonight give me a longer, stronger tomorrow? So now you know. The bedtime routine you've followed for years, the meals, the drinks, the room temperature, the way you lie down to sleep, these aren't just habits. They're choices. And for seniors, they are powerful ones. Choices that can either protect your heart, or put it under silent strain. Choices that can support your brain, or slowly erode memory and clarity. Choices that can keep you steady on your feet, or leave you vulnerable in the dark. They're not dramatic. They're not flashy. But they matter more than you think. Because in this stage of life, it's often the subtle things that make the biggest difference. A glass of water at the wrong hour. A warm room that feels safe but exhausts your heart. A sleeping position that feels natural, but steals your breath in the night. These are the quiet traps. The invisible habits. And most people don't see them until it's too late. But you do now. You know what took others years, or tragedy, to learn. And with that knowledge comes power. The power to protect yourself. The power to sleep deeply. The power to live longer, and stronger. Because here's the truth that no one told us when we were younger. Health isn't just what you eat. It's not just exercise or medication. It's how you prepare for rest. It's what your body endures while you sleep. It's the environment you build around yourself, quietly, night after night. That's why I challenge you to take just one step tonight. Not 10. Not 5. 1. Maybe it's finishing dinner earlier. Maybe it's switching to a lighter blanket. Maybe it's simply lying on your left side instead of your back. One small change. That's all it takes to shift the future in your favor. Because small changes, repeated consistently, become lifelines. They become longer mornings. Clearer thoughts. More time, with your family, your passions, your life. So ask yourself now, before you drift off. Which habit speaks to me the most? Which one have I ignored for too long? And which change am I ready to make tonight? Because aging isn't the enemy. Unawareness is. Life is not just about how many years you live, but how much life you have in those years. So sleep well tonight, not just with comfort, but with clarity. You've earned your rest. You've earned your peace. And now, you've earned the wisdom to protect it. Good night.